Welcome back to my channel. Hello, I'm Roxanne and it is Sunday and it is time for a prediction video. And the topic for today is Rosemary and Lee. They're like the best couple ever. Since you're here, click the button and subscribe. Thank you. So what is going on with Rosemary and Lee in season 9? Who knows? So I decided to, of course, rewatch, take my notes of season 8, and then I listened to some interviews with John Tinker and actually with Kevin Smith and Pascal, trying to see if I could glean some clues. And I think I have some good ideas for what's going to happen. Anyway, let's get into what's going to happen in my mind with Rosemary. I want to start with her first. So I think that Rosemary is definitely, going to continue with the newspaper. It's going to be bigger and better. It was just this one-page front and back newspaper that went out. Robert actually was the one who delivered them, and you saw a lot of that come together at the very end. And most of the 12 episodes of season 8 were taken up with Rosemary trying to find herself. She was just trying to find a creative outlet. And if you remember way back in the beginning of When Calls the Heart, she tried her hand at, she loves giving people advice. We know this. We see that season after season. But she was working for the newspaper writing a column called Mary Rose, and she was hoping that it would be a secret. I'm going to show you a clip of that. It's quite funny. And there's always been like a comedic part to her character.
What, no breakfast?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lee. I've just been so busy.
Doing what?
My column. The time I spent working at the cafe has put my finger back on the pulse of what's going on around here. It's as if this whole town desperately needs my advice.
So she has that ability in her to write. And I'm not surprised that she started a newspaper, especially because she likes to be investigative. And I think that will continue. And there's a lot going on in Hope Valley in season 9. I mean, we were like bumped on the head with so many clues, and I talk about that in another video. So we know that there's this factory that's being built or trying to be built. We know that someone is buying up property, and we know that Rosemary wants to know about it. So she, of course, will continue, in my mind, with investigating. And that leads me to, she needs to build her staff. She even says that in the last episode, and I'll show you a clip of that.
Never again.
So that's it? One and done?
No. Just, if I'm going to run a paper, I want to do it right. With a staff and a real proper printing press and an office.
My office.
Our office.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
So I know that she hired Robert to make the deliveries, and Robert's graduated. He wants to be a Mountie. He's doing all these odd jobs. We talked to Lucas about it, babysitting, delivering mail, and then delivering the newspapers. I'm thinking that he'll have a little bit more of a job where I don't know if he'll actually be writing, the newspaper for the newspaper, but I think he'll be helping in the, the printing press of it, the behind the scenes kind of thing in some capacity, because he is older. He's trying to find his way and become a grown man in the community. So that is one of the predictions I have, which is not about Rosemary, but she indirectly is affecting another character. And if you paid attention on social media, you will see that one of the directors, which is Peter, who I've loved back in the day from 21 Jump Street, Peter DeLuise, he actually made a comment about it, put up some pictures, which I will show you, and was asking us what we thought her office would look like. So that's how I know she is really going to be diving in, and that is going to be a major part of the storyline for season 9. And I'll show you some pictures right here, in case you haven't seen them. So I think if she's still going, I don't think she's still going to share the space with Lee. I feel like that she's going to sort of have her own little corner somewhere. But the only reason why I think they wouldn't officially give her an office for us to see is because of, you know, building restrictions and limits on funds. And otherwise they would definitely, I mean, they took forever to show us what Lucas's office looked like, right? But they had some really cool scenes in there, and it also was a window into who Lucas was. Well, we know a ton about Rosemary, so they might not necessarily have to show us an office, but I can't imagine that her printing press and everything could be shared with Lee, although that could be comical. So, bringing me to Lee. What about Lee? I know in my heart, and I could be totally wrong, you come back and say, Dorenzis, you were so wrong. Why are you making these prediction videos? I know in my heart that Lee's going to win being mayor. And the reason why I say that is in the very last episode, all of a sudden, boom, they're having a race for mayor. And at first when I heard about this, I was like, Bill, he'll definitely get it because he's like the overseer of the town, like the patriarch of the town. Oh, he's going to get it. But then I realized that there was this scene with Lee. He's trying to find his way. And he says to to Joseph rather, and he says to him, you know, I need something. He's like, I supply the lumber for people to create. What about me creating something?
Hey, sweetheart. So, I think I finally found out what my calling is. Now, hear me out.
You're going to run for mayor.
No, I'm going to run for mayor. How did you know that?
I got a nose for news, Mr. Coulter.
So it's like he's finding his way also. So I really think he will be mayor because they really didn't spend extra time on anyone else. And then again, Peter, who's being so kind to us and feeding us Hearties, he posted up a poll and said, who do you think would win? And I really do think it's going to be Lee. And I mean, I feel like I'm being Captain Obvious. So we've got Lee and Rosemary really working on their career. And that brings me to an interview with Entertainment Online with John Tinker. And they said, what about a family for Rosemary and Lee? I know they want one. And he said, we wanted to show a couple who were struggling to have a child, yet they could still be fulfilled with other things in their lives. And that was the undertone for them. And he said it would be continuing. And then, of course, he teases like, you never know in the future. So I truly do not think that Rosemary will be pregnant this season. You know, she might be someone who cannot get pregnant, or as a husband wife, they can't get pregnant. So they adopt. But I don't think that even if they were going to get pregnant, it would be in this season just because of COVID. I mean, like you have to have twins. There are a lot of rules on a good, happy, healthy day. Their restrictions are different. And I really don't think that they are ready to have in this season another child, another set of twins on. Maybe at the very, very end, if at all, they would make her pregnant, but I really don't think that they will. I think that she would adopt. She and Lee would adopt before anything. And I'm thinking that maybe in her investigations, she stumbles across something, and this is how she meets either, you know, someone, or they link back to the spin-off of the show where the two sisters have the orphanage. It could be something along those lines. I was surprised they didn't do that back a few seasons ago. But anyway, these are my thoughts. I really don't think the focus is going to be on children. Maybe at the end, like a little bit of a cliffhanger, but I'm not even sure about that. Which leads me to their connection with Clara and Jesse. I feel like if anybody was going to have a baby, and all these seasons, only one character has been pregnant, and that's Elizabeth. But if anybody was going to have a baby, next in line would be Clara and Jesse. And Clara and Jesse are like a reflection of Lee and Rosemary. And I feel like their storylines are going to be very much connected to them in season 9. Clara, you know, she is in the dress shop, and then she's always trying to make, you know, extra money. She is interested in buying Abigail's. They do have their money back, so that gives her an opportunity to invest. And I think with Lee being so busy with being mayor that that's going to give even more responsibility to Jesse. And I feel like they're in a good spot financially. And Jesse, I feel like Clara's always scolding him like it's her son. And I feel like when they went through stuff, it made her have a different perspective and appreciate him more. And it gives him a little more self-confidence, because I feel like he was almost a little childlike, always looking for her approval. And I think next season, season 9, he's going to find more confidence when he's working for Lee and running the show. So if anybody were to get pregnant, I think they would be next. Also, I think with Lee becoming mayor, he's going to want, he's going to look at things different. He's going to want the town to prosper and be safe and to grow. And I feel like that might put him at a little bit of odds with Jesse, who made the comment when he was sitting on the couch after Nathan found him out in the mountain, who made the comment about, why didn't you put him in jail? And he said, he said to Bill, why didn't you put Weinman in jail? And he said, because it was a legitimate, even though you hadn't heard from him, it was truly a legitimate investment. He was buying up properties in Hope Valley, and he's like, oh, I'm glad I got my money back, and that's what it was about. And I have it back, Jesse said, because I like Hope Valley the way it is. So maybe he'll have a different perspective than Lee.
Much. Although, Bill, I don't quite understand why you couldn't keep Walden in jail.
Where he belongs, in my opinion.
Well, he gave you 2 your money back, and we had no other charges against him.
I predict there will be when folks read about him in the newspaper.
Well, don't be so sure. Even though you guys didn't know where he was investing your money, he was investing in buying up local properties and businesses, anticipating the town's growth.
Well, I like the town the way it is, so I'm glad we got our money back.
I'm just glad I got you back.
Welcome home.
Thanks, Bill.
It could cause a little bit of friction. These are just things that I'm thinking, that I'm predicting. That's not a hard prediction. It's just something floating in the back of my mind as a possibility. That leads me back to Rosemary and Lee and them being so busy with their own careers. I feel like their relationship's going to be tested. I'm not saying it's going to be tested like in a really serious way, but I feel like Rosemary and Lee are going to be so devoted into their career that they realize that they don't have time for romance. And I remember a while back where Rosemary was miffed or feeling lonely because she and Elizabeth didn't have girl time. And I feel like that's going to happen to Lee and Rosemary. And I like that because there is like an opportunity for them to maybe learn from Lucas and Elizabeth. I am sure that their romance is going to be amped up. Lucas is a very romantic guy, and Elizabeth is quite flirty once she makes her decisions. So maybe those two can somehow help out Rosemary and Lee, who are always helping out everybody. And even Jesse and Clara could be giving them some advice as well. So I think it's going to make for a very interesting season 9. Now, this brings me to fan page. Why is it that everybody has a fan page? Lucas and Elizabeth, Luca Beths, the Wen calls the Hearties, Hearties of Hope Valley, a Chris McNally page. There are a lot of fan book pages on Facebook. And I was like, where's a fan page for this amazing couple? They have been the longest running couple in Hope Valley, or actually in Wen calls the Heart, because it was called Coal Valley before it was Hope Valley. Even longer than Elizabeth and Jack. And then, of course, with Jack passing away. So why is it there isn't a fan page for them? So we started a fan. As of now, I think we have 60 active members, but we haven't even done it a week. So while I'm here, I want to show you what that looks like on Facebook. You can ask to join, seek us out. And I also want to give a shout out to Carolyn, who is one of the administrators along with myself. And and there's more than just the two of us, but I'm giving a shout out to Carolyn because she's so great at taking these photo edits and putting them together. And she has this one called Friday Funnies that is so adorable. I'll show you it right here. And it's great because it's like a dialogue with Lee and all the couples, with Lee and Rosemary, and they're going to go do a double date, and Lucas is like, what? And Elizabeth's like, oh, it's going to be so much fun. And Ned's in the background like, oh, thank God. Now, Florence and I, Flo and I are off the hook. It's cute. So join. We have something special for each day of the week so we can interact. I just posted up a map of the world, and I'm asking, you know, the members, where are you from? Just to see if we're close by, because you can connect. I've done that. I've connected. I'm from South Jersey, and I've connected with people in this area. I didn't realize I had so many friends from my own town that were that were Hearties. So anyway, I think it's fun. We stay connected. I mean, it's a good, clean pastime, right? And join, show some love to this wonderful couple. I mean, I think they're going to be the mayor and first lady of Hope Valley. And what a fashionable duo they are too, right? Like he's a sharp dresser as she is. Very, you know, cutting edge. Okay, as always, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate my Monday mornings after I post these videos on Sunday. My phone blows up with all kinds of notifications on Monday for you sharing your ideas, whether you agree or disagree with me. It is great. Again, thank you for tuning in. See you next week.